Hello everybody! Today's topic ay sobrang one of the most requested. Sobrang daming nag-comment sa YouTube or nagsisend sa akin ng private message or nagtatanong sa mga live streams, paano ko ba tuturuan yung anak kong magbasa? So if you're ready, I'm going to give you tips kung paano natin ma-prepare yung ating emergent readers. Kaya tara, usap tayo. Let's get talking. Hello, welcome back! For those of you na hindi pa ako kilala, I'm Teacher Kaye and I'm a certified speech-language pathologist. So like I said in the intro, ito ay mga tips and considerations for your emergent readers. Iba po ito sa beginner readers. Ang emergent po ay from birth to around late 3 years old to 4 years old. Hindi pa po sila pumapasok ng formal schooling. Maaaring nagpe-preschool pero hindi pa po sila nagki-kindergarten. The stage of emergent reading means that's the pre-alphabetic stage, meaning hindi pa nila kailangang alam yung alphabet, yung symbols, yung mga graphemes in a language. This is important because my first tip is always to remember the child's readiness. I notice a lot of parents who push learning the alphabet and the numbers so early. 1 or 2 years old pa lang, bumibili na sila ng mga alphabet charts. Tapos, A, anak, ito A. A is for apple. B is for ball. Now, I always say this. If your child seems interested, then that's okay. You can take their lead and teach them the alphabet kung parang gusto nila. Sila mismo yung lumalapit dun sa mga chart or mahilig tumingin ng mga printed material. But if they don't seem interested, wag din kayong ma-frustrate kung 2 years old pa lang siya tapos tinuturuan niyo siya ng alphabet tapos parang di niya type. And we have to pay attention to their reactions to that. We have to observe because sometimes we might be pushing it too hard sa kanila and we may be damaging potential interest in reading or in learning the letter symbols. Aww. Kasi sa kanila nagiging task. Bakit ba pinipilit to sa akin? Hindi ko nga yan type. Because they don't understand the relevance pa sa kanila because hindi pa sila ready magbasa. One of the worst case scenarios na na-observe ko na in my practice is makakita pa lang siya ng alphabet or ng blocks will completely avoid the task na. So the next question becomes, how do I make them interested? I-hype nyo yung printed material, like exaggerated. And here are some suggestions for you to do that. So first of all, make sure there are printed materials lying around na pwede niyang ma-access. If they're very young children, you could leave out cloth books na pwede nilang hawakan na hindi nila mapupunit or really thick board books. So either leave it somewhere na maaari nilang makita on their own or as an option kapag naglatag ka ng kanyang toys. And then kapag nakita niyong dinampot nila yung book or any reading material, magazine, newspaper, whatever, acknowledge that and act super excited. Oh wow, yung anak ko gusto ng newspaper. Nagbabasa yan ng dyaryo. Wow naman! And then you can join them and show them that there's a way to manipulate the books. Like, papakita mo, ito yung front ng book, ito yung back, para makita natin lahat. Finiflip natin isa-isa yung mga pages. You can show them that there's a way to interpret the symbols of the book. For example, the simple act of going left to right kapag nagbabasa. So habang sinasabi mo yung words, you can say, my bedtime storybook. And notice how I kept my fingers mostly at the same letter habang binabasa ko because it could help them follow the symbols and the sounds that accompany them without it being a lesson. Make them aware that printed material is everywhere. So for example, lumabas kayo, namamasyal kayo, at sabi mo, oh anak, nandito tayo sa Rizal Park. Paano ko alam? Ayun o, nakasulat dun sa street sign. Rizal Park. Oh, nabasa yun ni Mommy. Ayan, marami tayong pwedeng basahin para nalalaman natin kung nasaan tayo. Wow! So for example, alam niyong mahilig yung anak niyo sa Jollibee. Tapos naghahanap kayo ng Jollibee na malapit. So sabihin mo, paano kaya natin malalaman kung saan papunta sa Jollibee? Maghanap tayo ng sign, anak. Oh, ayun pala nakalagay, this way to Jollibee. Nahanap yun ni Mommy kasi binasa yun ni Mommy. Wow! Marami tayong nalalaman kapag nagbabasa na tayo. For example, pakita mo na, oh, tutut, may nag-text sa'yo or something. Awaw, ang luma, tutut, Nokia. So, kunwari, sabihin mo, oh, pinapasabi ni Lola, I love you daw. Paano ko alam? Pinadalhan niya ako ng message. Oo, pwede kami mag-usap kahit hindi pa siya tumatawag. Kasi napapadalhan niya ako ng text message na nababasa ni Mommy. Wow! Galing, no? And one of the most important ways to hype reading is to show na ikaw mismo interesado ka sa reading. So make sure that there's a time every day na makikita ng anak mo na nagbabasa ka ng some reading material. So whether it's a magazine or a novel, find anything that you can read para nakikita ng anak mong, ganyan pala nagsispend ng time si mommy, nagbabasa siya. Parang gusto ko rin gawin yan. And one of the most important is reading with them. Because kapag nakikita nilang, ang daming mga nakakaaliw na stories na nanggagaling sa mga books. Imagine kapag nakakapagbasa ka na, di mas marami ka pang stories na malalaman. So ayan po, meron kayong lesson kung paano mang-hype ng isang bagay. And in this case, it's reading. And my last tip that you can do with everything is starting phonological awareness. Awareness ha, not lessons, not tasks, awareness lang. Meaning, pwede nyo silang i-bombard ng itong mga different tips na ibibigay ko sa inyo without expecting a response. Also, defining phonological awareness. Ang mga phonemes natin ay ang speech sounds that eventually make words. So, gusto lang nating maintindihan nila that the words that we say actually comes from a combination of different speech sounds. So, not phonics yet. Phonics is associating those sounds with their symbols or their graphemes or the written symbols of the alphabet. Hindi pa po yun. Phonological awareness pa po muna. I'm not saying that you cannot teach phonological awareness and phonics at the same time. In fact, kapag gawin natin yan sabay-sabay lahat, those are the best ways to teach. But just for the purpose of this video, yung tips ko ay phonological awareness muna. So one of the ways you can do that is by making them aware of sounds in isolation. So you can do this with all the everyday labels na sinasabi nyo sa kanila. If you guys want to look back at my episode on dubbing, where lahat ng nangyayari, dinadub nyo or kino-comment nyo, you can use that technique with this phonological awareness technique. So when you want to tell them, ay anak, hawak mo yung teddy bear mo. Your teddy bear. What is it? Your bear. Bear starts with a ba. Yes! Anong sound? Ba! And then move on. You don't have to hear them say it. Eventually, kapag lagi mong ginagawa with everything that you're doing, magugulat ka na lang one day sila yung mag-aabot sa'yo, Mama, look, it's my bear. Also, you can play with alliterations. Oh, magpanic. Ang ibig sabihin lang yan ay using the same speech sounds in a string of words. For example, your big belly. Both of those start with b. Or a brown bear. Or a big bouncing ball. Boing, 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 boing. So you point out those sounds just to make them aware na parang may mga sounds na pare-pareho dun sa mga sinabi ni Mama. Or try to think up games with familiar names sa kanya. So name niya or name mo or name ng anyone in the household. So for example, with the name Kaye, you can tell them, what is the first sound of the name of Teacher Kaye? It's K. Can we think of other words na nagsisimula sa k? For example, oh my gosh, she's crazy. Or, Teacher Kaye is also very cute. Or Teacher Kaye can also be classy. And then try to see kung meron siyang mga maiisip that start with his or her name. Around the same level is mga I Spy games. Alam niyo yung I Spy? Yung mga I Spy with my little eyes. You describe kung anong gusto mong hanapin nila. So you can say, what about the sound B? As in ball. Can we find other things in the room na nagsisimula dun sa same sound ng B? Ball? What about a baso? Another thing that really helps with phonological awareness is introducing them to rhymes. Kaya maganda ang nursery rhymes and ang mga action songs or any songs that have rhymes. Kasi kapag nakakarinig sila ng songs na may rhymes, for example, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, How I Wonder What You, and even if they're not so familiar with it yet, next time it will be easier for them to think it should sound like R. Kasi yun ang sinabi nilang star. So, how I wonder what you are. So see, it can also help with inferencing skills. You can check out my video on action songs and other ways to use them for teaching. Now, if you want to try and see if they're ready for blending, and that means putting all the speech sounds together to make a word, you can try games like, okay, I'm going to give you 3 sounds. Tapos tingnan mo kung mahuhulaan mo yung word na iniisip ko. So for example, what is d, o, g? What's that? Can we try to put it all together? D, o, g. D, og. What's that word? You're right. It's dog. Dog. Now, baliktad naman yung skill if you want to see if they're ready to segment on their own. So, for example, sabihin natin, what about the word bola? Ilan kaya yung mga sounds na naririnig mo sa bola? Let's try it. There's b, o, l, and a. B, ola. Ilang sounds? Yes, you're right. Merong 4 na sounds sa ola. Great job! Then you can also check kung kaya na nilang magdagdag or magtanggal ng mga sounds and find out what words those are. So for example, dun sa salitang suka. So suka, asim yan, suka. Paano kung magdagdag tayo ng a sa simula at ng l sa dulo? A, suka, l, asukal. Naging asukal? Sugar! Wow, tamis yun eh! Kapag nagdadagdag tayo ng iba-ibang sounds, nag-iiba yung salita at nag-iiba yung ibig sabihin. Dun sa salitang bola, Tagalog yun, di ba? Bola. Pero pwede yung maging English. Pag tanggalin natin yung a sa dulo, magiging ball. Ball! Ball lang! English na! Ball and bola. Magkaiba. And then one of the most fun things for me is minimal pairs. Ang minimal pairs po ay yung mga salitang magpapalit lang tayo ng iisang tunog pero mag-iiba na completely yung mga salita. So maraming ganito sa English. Meron din sa Tagalog. For example, baso as in glass and basa. So pinaltan ko yung o sa a. Baso glass, basa as in wet. So magkaiba na sila. Pero sobrang daming shorter words sa English that are minimal pairs. For example, ang cat, pat, mat, bat, etc. So play around with those. Tignan mo kung pwede mo siyang bigyan ng instruction na, paltan nga natin, gawin nating p, yung unang tunog, imbis na k. So imbis na cat, magiging at, pat, as in tinatapik, pat. So marami pang ibang ways for phonological awareness and other ways to prepare your child for reading. But these are the ones that I have tried myself and alam kong very effective po talaga sila. Also, I want you to consider na mas madali actually yung wika nating Pilipino for starter readers kasi kung ano yung sulat, yun din ang bigkas. So you might want to focus on learning Tagalog words first. And that's all for today. Sana meron kayong bagong natutunan and sana masubukan nyo sa inyong mga bahay. If you like this and you found it helpful, please subscribe and join our community. You can also get in touch with me on my Facebook and Instagram at Teacher Kaye Talks. Meron na rin po akong TikTok and Kumu with the same name. So I hope to connect with you guys in any of those channels. And hanggang sa muli, happy talking and mabuhay!